Disneyland, the happiest place on earth. My family was so thrilled to take our first trip to Disney. Here we are on our way to Anaheim. My son Brady was so excited and ready for an adventure. I couldn't stop dreaming of all the magic he was about to experience, or so I thought. Here we are the next morning in Disneyland. We woke up bright and early because we couldn't wait to begin our magical experience. I soon began to realize the reality of Disney. At 8 o'clock in the morning, you could barely walk through the park. It was so crowded. We weren't going to let this ruin our experience, however. We decided to get in line for our first ride. My son Brady loves Toy Story, so we chose a Toy Story ride. Here we are waiting, and doing some more waiting. An hour later, we finally got on our first ride. I thought the ride was great, and I was so excited to get back in line for another ride, but my son was not so convinced. He was already tired of standing in line, and it was only 9 o'clock in the morning on our first day. We decided to go ahead and take a stroll over to the ride, It's a Small World. What other ride could be more magical than this one? I was sure Brady was going to love it. Reality hit again, and if you cannot already tell, he was less than thrilled about having to wait in line yet again. He did not appreciate the ride like I remember loving it when I was 5. This was the most magical ride in Disney. How could he not love it? I decided it was time to take a break from the rides and go ahead and head over to meet some characters. What better way to cheer up a 5-year-old? What? You have to wait in line for hours to meet the characters too? What kind of magical place is this? Again, not what I was expecting. Here is our second time standing in line to meet Goofy. The first time we waited for 30 minutes and were a few minutes away from meeting him when he decided it was time to take his break. I then had one broken-hearted kid. How do you explain to a 5-year-old that characters have to take breaks? Shouldn't they have a backup Goofy or something? We left Disneyland that day with a better grasp on reality and decided to make a well-thought-out plan for what the next day would look like. This is day number 2, and we decided to go ahead and head to the Cars theme park. The number one ride that we wanted to go on was the Radiator Springs Racers. We knew this was a popular ride, so we decided to skip breakfast and get to the park extra early to get a fast pass for the ride. A fast pass is a ticket that enables you to skip all the lines by giving you a certain time to return back. We knew that we'd have to get there as soon as the park opened in order to get a fast pass for the ride. We arrived to the Fast Pass distributor booth to meet but to our surprise, the line to get a Fast Pass was never ending. It wrapped around and around the buildings. I would have to wait at least an hour to get a Fast Pass, which may be sold out by the time we got up there. With a crushed heart, we decided to go ahead and get some breakfast and make another plan. We headed over to Flo's for some much-needed brain food. We decided to go ahead and explore the rest of the Cars town and see if around lunchtime the Radiator Springs Racers would die down. We got a much-needed boost when we met Lightning McQueen, and we even got to meet Mater. We even went over to enjoy the Mater tractor ride, which my son absolutely loved. After exploring some more of the town, lunchtime rolled around, and we decided it was time to head down to see if the Radiator Springs Racers, the line had died down. With the 3-hour wait, we decided to go ahead and do it because we knew we'd regret it if we didn't. I have to say that the wait was absolutely excruciating. We were all starving, and I couldn't help but think, why did we decide to come to Disney? I mean, it's really overrated. You have to stand in line for at least 2 hours with cranky kids who would rather be in the gift shop buying toys. Was it really worth all the hours of waiting, cranky children, and the expense? Where is the magic in this? After hours of waiting, we finally got on the ride. Every ounce of doubt I had was soon wiped away by the priceless smile that was on my son's face. I could not believe the magic that was in this ride. It was literally the most amazing experience. It was not at all what I had imagined. The racers actually took us through the Radiator Springs town. The cars even talked to you, and it made you feel like you were truly in the movie. As our car raced into the finish line, I couldn't help but think that the smile on my son's face was all worth it. This is a moment in time that I will never forget. I could not help but think this was definitely the most magical place on earth. Dreams really do come true.